happy lunar eclipse, blood moon, full moon. It's the closeout of the eclipse season, and this energy is preparing us for a 6 month window. It's quite an interesting read, low key. So I'm recording this reading days before the actual eclipse kicks in, and I don't usually do that 9:15 on the clock, but I'm going to be busy on the full moon eclipse with my daughter celebrating her birthday, which is actually on the 24th. But that's not the point. The point of me saying that is to say that I almost don't want to do this reading right now, because not only do I not like the reading, I also 44 on the clock, not a fan of the messages that are coming out. Like, I mean, I can't say that fully because it is some kind of decent messages, but it looks like a lot going on in the motherfucking energy. I usually don't even read the cards in the way that I'm about to read them. I try to stick with the order that the messages are coming out. But hold on, y'all. Whew. Okay. 1:11 on the clock. All right, so I'm just gonna hop into this because, god damn. Again, like I was saying, I don't usually read these all jumpy and out of order, but it's mad segments of cards here, so I'm just gonna go with where I feel called to go with first. All right, segment number one. And again, all these messages may apply to you across everything that I'm saying. They could be applying to different parts of your life. I haven't read everything here. It's just most of my deck is laid out right now. Or only parts of this could apply. I don't know. Just be open and listen to the messages. If you are trying to have a baby, the good news is you're going to be able to do that. So that is one of the best messages that I have for this reading so far, is congratulations to anyone who has been trying to conceive or thinking about conceiving. You are going to have the opportunity to do that. Now, for my other people who are already in relationships of some sort, there is an opportunity for you to either bring an ending or bring a rebirth to your relationship. It is completely up to the two of you. This could also be two people who have a history together but might not necessarily be together. So if you have a history with somebody, both of you have done the work required for y'all to come into your emperor and empress status. There may be some things that have to be worked out and sorted out for you two to actually make this something that is more than just an idea in your mind, like materialize it. But you are going to be able to do that. You are going to be able to have a child if you want to. And this is something that both of you actually desire. Boom. Positive side. If this is two people who are in a relationship and they don't want to be together anymore, or at least one of them do not, the other person does. So if you are going through some sort of separation or divorce, it could either be you who wants a separation, just know your partner doesn't. Or if it's you who doesn't, just know that your partner is decided and it's something that they desire. Both of you are looking to have some sort of fresh start in your life. It looks like the feminine energy is looking to go back into some sort of cycle. A death and rebirth would be bringing life back into something. It looks like the masculine energy is looking to bring an end to something. Now, the ending that the masculine energy is looking to bring looks more like a final ending based in their own focus of self. And they need to be very mindful. You need to be mindful of masculine energy. Now, I could be talking to a man or I could be talking to a woman, right? Both of these people are looking to bring some sort of ending. Okay, one of them, the man or the woman, I don't know, because men and women move in and out of masculine and feminine energy all the time, as we are supposed to. But one of you is like, man, fuck all of this shit. I'm definitely not interested. And I'm going to move forward with my life. But you haven't fully thought about what that actually looks like in a structured, practical plan that is going to work for all aspects of your life. And so with that, you could be putting yourself back in the same cycle of situation or making it more complicated for you to leave, okay? The other person is like, fuck this. I'm not feeling how this is going. I need things to go my way. And so that might not look like the other person getting to leave, right? Because it could be that this person is trying to hold on to whatever it was, even if what it was toxic. And so, yeah, there's a fresh start. There is an opportunity, but you gotta be mindful about what that looks like. You cannot go and bring a start to a rebirth to a bad dynamic or situation without actually helping yourselves individually and collectively. So if you're in a partnership and you want this to work, two of y'all are gonna have to go to some sort of couples therapy and individual therapy, because one of the two of you ain't right. And I'm just being honest. You feel what I'm saying? And if one of the two of you ain't right and you part of the two, then how right could you be? Like, you got to be affected by this other person in some form or fashion. So the only way that this is really going to work is if y'all actually go get help and apply the help that you get. All right. I personally don't do couples counseling or reading or therapy of any sort. I deal with people individually because at the end of the day, any problem that you're dealing with in your relationship is rooted in yourself. I'm a firm believer in that. And that's not to say that you're the person bringing the problem, 615 on the clock. You could be the person that is allowing the problem simply by staying where you are, which goes back to your self-worth, self-value, standards, boundaries. You feel what I'm saying? So yeah, everything goes back to self. All right, boom. Let's set that to the side. Now, you're being encouraged to continue to protect the things that you've worked toward, and sit with yourself throughout this whole window, especially on the final eclipse of this eclipse window, to see the things that, I guess it's back to talking about the pivot. So remember, in all the readings up till now and over the past week or so on social media, I've been talking to you guys about the pivot from this new moon into this full moon eclipse window. By the time you get to the eclipse, you should be very clear and enlightened on what your pivot is. And the only way that you're going to be able to do that is by keeping yourself in a bubble of sorts, 727 on the clock. So this is keeping your business to yourself, being quiet and still long enough to get all the information that you need so that you can go back out there and do whatever it is that you need to do. You're going to find victory and success through using your own spiritual gifts and intuition. So if you are a person who does spiritual work, your success is going to come from using your talent and gifts to actually help other people in some way. Like, I offer readings and I offer workshops. I help people manifest, so on and so forth. What things are you offering, right? How does your gift help other people? That is what you need to be maximizing 8 on the clock. Even if you don't do spiritual work, maybe you do wellness, maybe you do art, maybe you do, I don't know, analytics or some shit. It don't matter. In some form or way, whatever it is that you do comes with guidance and messages. It was put on your spirit or your heart for you to do that thing. And that thing is going to bring you victory and success, especially if you do spiritual work. And I keep saying that because you have the high priestess along with the magician. That's a phenomenal set of cards to get when we're talking about maximizing yourself. And then you have the 6 of Wands here. So not only are you going to be able to excel at this, you're also going to be recognized for what you're doing. If this is tied to romance or a relationship in some way, know that you are going to be able to balance that out as well through the ways in which you operate with your intuition. Now, this is not a message for anybody to do any type of blood work on anybody else. I do not think that that is righteous work. That shit is of the devil. Anything that you're doing to manipulate somebody else's energy, shame on motherfucking you, all right? And if you are out here doing things to manipulate people's energy unrighteously, may you pay for that. I'm just leave it at that. But this is a message for you if you are dealing in a dynamic or situation, for you to focus on cultivating what it is that you're manifesting for yourself. And so if you are a person that is manifesting being in a relationship, what you need to be focused on, instead of trying to get somebody to be in the relationship with you, is how you are going to show up in said relationship so that you can communicate what you want clearly, so that you can say no to what isn't for you. You feel what I'm saying? You can keep your standards high. That's very important. That is key. But if it's not just love related, and I say that because you got the King of Swords, the Queen of Swords, and then you got this Knight in between them. And then you got a bunch of other cards that deal with like making a plan, moving forward, things taking action and moving swiftly. 10s, 11s on the clock, 1s and 0s on the clock. And I said 10s and 11s. Take that as well. But the fuck. Yeah, so you're able to manifest something that you want. On a sidebar note, let's say this doesn't have to do with love. You're about to balance out your own personal masculine and feminine energy, which is going to allow you to be able to take quicker, swifter action on things that have been moving slow in your life. So don't forget your own powers during this time. Don't forget all that you've been able to create for yourself, especially 144 on the clock. To all my master manifestors, I've had a lot of people in the master manifestor workshop. We ran like 30 something of them online, and a lot of you guys still have the information that was given to you, and a lot of y'all still live out the work in your everyday life through your affirmations and visualizations and so on and so forth. So make sure you are doing those things. If you've been consistent and diligent in those things, you'll find that this eclipse window 11:11 on the clock is bringing those manifestations to you in a very fruitful and abundant way. You got the Ace of Pentacles, and you also got the Ace of Cups. That comes with the caveat as well that you need to keep whatever your blessings are to yourself. Keep moving strategically. Be very mindful of what you're sharing and how you're sharing it in terms of like yourself, your resources, and all of that. And allow yourself to fall into this new. The last reading that I did that dealt with the week ahead talked about having a fresh start and falling into something new as we close out this cycle and go into a new one. And that same information is being reiterated over here. Final messages. You could be bringing a tower moment to somebody, or somebody could be bringing a tower moment to you. Somebody is walking away from something. That is something that is going to be finalized throughout this eclipse. Now, this looks like something that can happen during this eclipse window. If it hasn't happened already, by the time we get to Friday, this will have played out for you. Well, let me say by the time we get to Saturday, this would have played out if it hasn't played out already. This tower moment is because somebody is leaving something. So somebody could be leaving a job. Somebody could be leaving a relationship. Somebody could be leaving a house. Somebody could be leaving the state, like country, whatever. Somebody is walking the fuck away. And that walk away is actually beneficial for that person, even though it might not feel so good in the beginning, right? Like typically, even though we're making a decision that we know is the best for us, our mind will start like going through all the reasons why we probably shouldn't, all the things we're going to miss out on. What if this was a mistake? Am I going to regret this later? Blah, 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 blah. We typically regret the things that we don't do. You feel what I'm saying? So if you're being called to walk away from something, definitely do that. If somebody is being called to walk away from you, the best thing you can do also is let that person go. I see a split in the energy where one person is going to go from being sad and you know, stressed out and having sleepless nights about it, mainly because they're not getting their way. And then finally that cycle is going to close for them. They're going to find balance. They're going to have the opportunity to go into something new, while the other person is going to carry on and keep putting that work in to do whatever it is that they have been trying to achieve from the beginning. They're going to go into the Wheel of Fortune. They're going to be able to take that fortune and actually level up, and they're going to be able to invest it into something that is abundant and fruitful for them. So this is really good. Somebody's going one direction so that they could work on themselves and find their healing and balance. They need some spiritual overhauling happening here so that they can plant seeds that are going to benefit them, because it looks like they missed the boat somewhere along the way. And the other person that's been doing all the work, that is like, listen, I'm not doing this anymore, I have to move forward, is moving forward with purpose and intention, and it's going to be very fruitful for them. You got the Wheel of Fortune leading to the King of Pentacles. Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby. This is beautiful. So if you are the person that is choosing to walk away, this is confirmation that you should definitely do that. If you are the person who's being walked away from, this is a confirmation that this definitely needs to happen. No change on an emotional level feels good. And I say an emotional level because You have cup cards here, which means you poured energy into this. This could be a relationship. This could be a job. This could just be where you live. It could be anything that you've invested energy, effort, thought, time, whatever into. Making a decision to walk away is going to be an emotional decision for everybody involved for very different reasons, some similar, but mostly very different reasons. Ones and fives on the clock. You have to embrace the change no matter which side of this that you're on, because everybody deserves to have the things that their heart deepest desires, which might not be the thing that your mind is telling you that you want or your ego is calling for. All right. And with that being said, enjoy this eclipse, and I'll be back with you guys in September. Peace.